Well, hello. In a recent video, we talked about how a coaching approach and leadership actually made radical results in a position that I was promoted to. You may remember that video. But that kind of an approach also works extremely well when you're talking about developing your people, and you have to work with your people on that. I'll give you one example, sort of dovetails out of that. In my military career, when I was a captain, I had the opportunity to take a 6-week long technical training instructor course. And while there, I was the only officer in the group. There was about 12 NCOs in the class, and then there was me, the captain. And it was sort of interesting because there came a time in that class where we were talking about having to mentor and kind of counsel those who follow you because they're struggling with something or whatever. And it was interesting, the instructor said that he was holding out one particular scenario of role-playing for me, being the only officer in the group. And when we got there, it was interesting because one of the classmates was the guy that I was counseling, if you will. And the scenario was that this person was an enlisted person who had been accepted for officer candidate school. And he was basically struggling with the fact that he was going to be an officer now, and he didn't need all this stuff that's going on right now. And so it was interesting. He called us up, the role play started, and I sat down with this individual and I said, "So how's it going?" And this person really role played it well. They dove right into, "I'm going to be an officer. I don't really think we need a lot of this here right now," and all of this kind of stuff. Where most of people would have kind of said, "Okay, you know what? Do this. This is your job. I need you to do your job." I didn't do it. What I did is I sat back. I said, "That's a very good instrument, very good goal on your part." I said, "When you talk about that, you're looking to really be a leader, right?" He said, "Sure, I definitely am." I said, "How important is it for a leader to actually understand followership?" And that kind of floored him in a positive way. And he sat back and he goes, "Well, probably pretty important." I said, "So can I throw out just something you just told me?" He said, "What's that?" And I said, "Did you just tell me that you're in a perfect place right now to begin understanding that aspect of where you're going to be?" And it blew him away in a positive sense that I took that approach. Interestingly enough, when the role play was done, the instructor stood up there and was shocked in a positive way. He said, "Man, I would have never thought about that kind of an approach." And it's interesting, one of the NCOs that was in the class said, "Well, I would have just told him about his job, his responsibilities, and all that kind of stuff." And what I told this individual was, I said, "You're right, I could have gone there, and that was the ace in my boot. But if I can reach into where this guy's wanting to go and tie it into that, he's going to be self-motivated to make the change, and I don't need to use the ace in my boot." And everybody in the class was pretty well blown away. They really appreciated me in the class, and they certainly appreciated that aspect of that role. But if you can connect with where your people are, and every person that follows you is different, one size doesn't fit all. But it was just one more example where if you tap into who they are and lead them versus just mandating and beating them up, you can get radical results. And as the industry is rapidly changing and we're in this sort of VUCA environment, this rapidly changing environment, that's going to be critical. All of us have more potential than we're currently using. Our vision at Coaching for Relevance is to bring freedom to potential in all those across my path. So I want to just challenge you to go check out our organizational maneuverability course and see how that can provide you insights that maybe that you're not seeing right now. And I also want to invite you to give us a call if you'd like to have a conversation about some items. So we want to just leave that with you, and thank you for your time.